So hi, I'm here with Lyndon and Rossana. Thank you both for joining me today virtually.
Good morning, Stacy.
Good morning. Good morning from Shanghai.
We've been together 35 years.
We started dating my freshman year, and he was a senior when I was a freshman at Berkeley.
Yeah.
So we both graduated with an architecture degree and then went on to grad school at Harvard.
Got it.
But before she went to Princeton, that summer we got married. And we moved cross country.
From San Francisco straight to New Jersey.
I worked for Michael Graves for 10 years.
What was that like?
He had his favorites, and that was the common complaint in the office. I just happened to be one of his favorites.
Michael was my teacher. He was my thesis advisor, in fact, at Princeton. So I first knew him in school. His office started working on a project in Shanghai. And they basically came to me and asked me if I wanted to run the project. And so I went over for the project to Michael's office. The next 10 years, working with him and traveling with him, he just showed so much generosity, and we were just really impressed with him.
In many ways, what brought us to Shanghai was 3-on-1. So that actually was a project that I worked with a partner and Michael. I had to deal with not just the project itself, but the politics behind it, dealing with all the different personality from John George to Nobu, you name it, all the names are common names now in the US. I mean, this was their first foray into China and Asia specifically. And so I suggested to have an office in Asia for Michael Graves. I don't think there was one major decision to say it was approved or not approved, but they just decided maybe that was not the right choice. And I said, maybe it's time for me after 10 and a half years to come to Asia, not knowing what we were going to do. That was kind of reckless, actually. Now thinking back,
it's very risky.
It was really crazy.
We were naive. We had no idea what we were doing. We started a company called Design Republic, which is a platform for retailing design objects and imported furniture, and then also designing some products on the side. And then projects started coming through. First, it was interior projects. So our very first project was a yoga studio. It kind of came out of nowhere, but we were pleasantly surprised. And then from that, led to other projects, and then later on to architecture projects and a lot of hospitality projects as well, I think, after Waterhouse.
We did face opposition. I still remember during the opening of Waterhouse, 2 hotel clients called me and says, "We don't believe you have what it takes to bring luxury to the next level."
All the historic buildings that are worthy of preserving are granted this plaque. Without the plaque, you can actually demolish. And the client wanted us to demolish, but we went on site and we said, you know what, this is actually much more interesting, especially as a hotel. So we retain a lot of things that most people would just rip out. And then on the other hand, it's a really inventive way of working with a boutique hotel. All 19 rooms are totally different.
You will never do that again.
Yeah, it's not a very sound way to practice design. Yeah. But I think the client appreciated, the market appreciated. So it became like a real destination for Shanghai.
Is there one that you've recently opened that you're really proud of?
It's the opening of the first Chinese whiskey distillery.
Oh, that's fun.
By Pernod Ricard. And it's in the middle of China. So imagine Buddhism being religious and alcohol coming together. How do you blur it? And how do you kind of combine them in ways that they can cohabitate and work together seamlessly?
Let's do a little lightning round. What's one thing people don't know about you?
Actually, I can answer for Lyndon on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, he's an amazing basketball player. You would not know.
She actually is an amazing piano player.
Oh, that's not true.
It is true. It is true. It is true. Yeah.
Biggest pet peeve in design?
Decoration.
For me, when things don't align.
What's still on your bucket list to create?
An orphanage. Lightning, Rossana, lightning.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, a bag.
Best piece of advice you've ever received?
For me, to be humble.
Yeah, same. To be humble.
There's definitely an ethos that runs through your firm. How do you keep that going and pushing that with such a big firm?
I've been thinking a lot about how it's very similar to, when you are a conductor for a symphony or orchestra, you're conducting a group of musicians who each play their own instrument. And it's kind of like that with design. We probably used to be the soloists, we were playing ourselves, and then, we're expressing our music or our ideas on stage. It's easy to do that when you're playing yourself, but then when you become a conductor, you have to teach other people how to play and still create the sound you want.
We have been teaching for the last 10 years, but not as seriously as the last 5 years. It's going to be hopefully our legacy the next 10 years to actually be able to give back what we've learned so much from many people.